please take a couple minutes to tell us a little bit more about yourselves, where you're from, so your home country, mention your academic level, what you are studying, and then when did you start at BSU? And whoever would like to go first, please feel free.
I can go first since I'm on mute. So my name is Anna Maria and I am originally from Poland. I'm graduating in May, so actually in like a few weeks. My major is marketing and I'm also anthropology minor. And I started at BSU in the fall 2018, so it's been like 3 years. And I transferred from institution in Poland.
I'll go next. My name is Nagendrababu Muppalla. I'm from India. I'm a graduate student in the computer science department. I joined BSU in January of last year, and I'm currently in my 3rd semester and hoping to graduate in December of 2021 this year. I'm also a graduate assistant for the Middle East and North Africa Studies program.
Hi, my name is Rothdanin and I come from Cambodia in majoring in international relations, and I was a senior student there. So I take the chance of pandemic just to come here to get a bit of seeing the world so far, but because of the pandemic, I don't know. But yeah, I started spring semester here, just 2021, yeah.
Thank you. So we all know that this pandemic has, played its toll in both the living and learning aspect of life. So would you mind mentioning, do you currently live on campus, off campus? With whom do you live? Is it roommates, friends, family? Do you live on your own? And has this changed at any point during the pandemic?
So I can start again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, feel free to follow the same order, or yeah, if anyone doesn't have anything to contribute, then we'll just move on to the next person.
Okay, so I live with host family because I was previously an au pair, so I lived with host family and I stayed with them, and it didn't change during pandemic. I stayed with them. It will change once I graduate, so once I find job, I will be moving out.
I don't live on campus. I live in a community nearby called Kingswood Park Village, and I live with my brother. He's currently working, and I have been living here since last year. And since it's me and my brother, there's no problem living with him during the pandemic.
For me, now I'm living on campus and I chose the single room. I live alone in a room, but I got a roommate and they just really, really friendly, and we got to communicate well with, daily. And I can say between stay at home and here, not really much, because I got a comfort and warm feeling from the family over there and also here, like the roommate over here. And I love this a lot.
Thank you. Can you all please describe your overall college experience before the pandemic? Were you in the US or in your home country? Were you at BSU? What was it like?
So I love BSU and I will always love it. And I had a great experience before pandemic. It was it was great to walk around campus, go to ISSS office and see all the people, interact with all the students. And unfortunately, after pandemic hit, it changed drastically. And I personally suffer from not seeing other students and not being able to interact with professors in person, because it's totally different when you just have Zoom calls or like online meetings, or just fully online classes that you don't even see your professors. And I think it's like huge change for me. Like, I was here before pandemic, I was in the US before pandemic, so I know how it was before, and I have like the perfect comparison to what it is like now. Like, even after classes, sometimes I would stay and talk to professors, and now, because like everything is online, I don't really have this opportunity to just like interact and like make new relationships with professors and students.
I came to the US in January of last year, and after a few days I landed here. We have been hearing about this virus spreading in other countries, but there's nothing here in the US at that time. So I'm in my first semester, and I would go to classes in the evening, do my work as a graduate assistant for media services and everything. Then it went on for 2 months, and then during spring break, I think we got an announcement saying that all in-person classes are cancelled. It was a sudden announcement, but the transitioning from in-person classes to virtual classes went on very smoothly. There are few difficulties, technical difficulties with Zoom initially, but everything was sorted out later. I'm good with virtual classes now. There's no problem in learning virtually. It is a new kind of experience for me.
Personally, I was like before like the college life before the COVID-19 pandemic. I was like studying, working during studying. So I was whole days like from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. study and working. So I was out of home like the whole day. But when suddenly the change the pandemic, I just stay at home for the whole day. But so it's can say that 180% like 100% like squeeze myself, but then days to day I start to adapt myself so far. Until I just come here, I really like virtual studying is good for me now, and I love it a lot to stay at home and study. And I start bringing the productive schedule every single day. So the experience is like before I can meet a lot of people, but now I can just stay at home and connect with the family and friends and the professor by the online or email like that. Yeah.
Thank you. And so I appreciate your feedback, because all three of you kind of alluded to the next question. If you could please elaborate a little bit more on your college experience at BSU during the pandemic, maybe discuss a little bit more about the academic impacts and also the social impacts.
So last semester I took 6 classes, and I feel like it was not a mistake, because I'm happy I did it, but it definitely affected a lot my learning experience, and it was really hard to like pass all the classes that were online. I feel like professors really I don't know, like they probably weren't aware of how much of course load to give to students, and they kind of assume that since everything is online, it's easier, and they just like put a bunch of assignments all the time. So I was taking 6 classes, and I was literally like doing assignments all the time. I didn't have a week where I wouldn't have to do assignments, and I only had 1 class that we had Zoom calls for. The rest was just fully online. So technically I could like pace myself and and do my assignments whenever, but I really didn't have time for that because there was always like every day I had something due. So I would just like kind of race myself to be with everything on time. And some professors were accommodating, like if I reached out to them, they would be like, okay, you can have more time, or if you need help, you can reach out to them. But some professors unfortunately were like really not nice about it, and they made it a lot harder. So comparing what it was like before pandemic and to what it was during pandemic, I feel like 6 classes was a ton of work. And before pandemic, I didn't have any trouble with going through 6 classes because majority of like assignments that were assigned during pandemic, we would discuss in class. So, and then during pandemic, we would have to just have group discussions and we would have to write. So like it was a lot of writing. It wasn't like really talking. So it just changed. If someone loves writing, like I love writing, but I got really sick of it at some point. So yeah.
As I said earlier, I'm good with virtual classes, but I can see some of my friends struggling with virtual classes and they would prefer in-person classes. The computer science faculty are very understanding. They're flexible with deadlines for assignments, and also they have reduced weightage for some projects and term papers because they can clearly see some students are feeling burdened. The academic side of things is very good for me, but I miss socializing with people a lot. I have met a lot of people in class or at workplace before the pandemic. I would discuss with them on varying topics from politics to sports, but it is impossible to experience that now. Also, last year, because of the pandemic, BSU has reduced the budgets allocated to different departments, and due to that, media services has to cancel my assistantship. Soon I found another graduate assistantship with Middle East and North Africa Studies program. So everything is good now.
Actually, I just come here in this semester, and first of all, I think that I can say it is a bit shock for me. Like I need to catch up with the new system of the school, like Blackboard. But since then, for weeks, and I get help from international student service, and then I can know that how the school work, like how that I can access to the class. Then I can adapt the school system. So it's convenient because I can just go to in a link and then I can access all the classes. And the classes itself, like I got one class like piano for the can say go to the class. I can balance it well because like others is on virtual, and I'm good with this because I like it a lot. I like to spend time studying by myself, research by myself. So it's okay for me for virtual. But as Anna said, sometimes it's also overload of writing, and sometimes I also feel sick of this. But days today, I hope that I can get all the assignments so far. Otherwise, on the other hand, about the environment over here, because before I come here, I also go to the Google a lot about the school environment, which means I really love the BSU environment because it have the big like school like environment around my tree, and also go to jogging and running with my national friend. She also get exchange over here, so we have to communicate. We run together. We go outside sometime together, and it's also the way to improve my English over here too. So about the communication with my friends and academic, and about the school is pretty well with me.
Thank you. And a part of what you all just alluded to and discussed was that connectedness and staying connected with folks. So could you please talk a little bit more about, or actually not a little bit more, but could you please discuss how the pandemic has affected life in your home country? How do you stay connected with folks back home? What challenges have your friends and families reported during the pandemic?
So situation in Poland now is they just got out of third lockdown, which is weird because they were talking about like third wave, even though the first one didn't even pass. But a lot of my friends complain about being in lockdown again, and like it doesn't really look well. I also don't appreciate the fact that right now none of my friends and family could come here and visit me because Poland is part of Schengen area. So if you want to travel from Schengen area, which are like couple country, like I think 26 countries in European Union, you have to first be outside of Schengen area for 2 weeks before you can travel to the United States. So it would take a lot of time for traveling. I was going to go home last May. I got tickets in January and I was super excited to go. And then pandemic hit in March and I was still hoping like, oh, maybe it will pass. Like there's still 2 months. It will be okay. But then unfortunately, like we all know like what happened next. I got money back for the tickets and I wasn't able to go back home. So I talk to my family like daily, basically through video chats on different platforms. I talk to my friends, but that's all we can really do. I wanted my family to come for graduation, and I don't know, like graduation, commencement is July 31st. So maybe it will change, but I kind of like, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm prepared for the worst. So unfortunately it doesn't look too well. Like all my friends kept their jobs, which is good. Like majority of them just work from home now. So it didn't affect my closest friends and family when it comes to job, but it's still affecting them. They cannot go to gym. They cannot go like leave the house because they will get tickets, and yeah, it's basically like everywhere, I guess.
I haven't gone to India since the pandemic hit, but I'm in touch with my parents, family, and friends, relatives through WhatsApp, FaceTime. I'll get updates about the situation in India. The first wave in India is not as deadly as it was in the USA, but now they're experiencing a second wave, which is quite devastating. Hospitals are full of patients and they're not admitting new ones. There is a shortage of oxygen for hospitals as well. The vaccination rate is very low and the death rate is climbing very high. My friends, family, and relatives are well, they're doing fine, but the situation of other people in the country is very concerning.
For current situation in Cambodia after pandemic of COVID-19, it's been, can say, a bit much worse because after the spreading and the last few weeks, these last few weeks, the Cambodia itself, like the capital city Phnom Penh and other town after that near the Phnom Penh already locked down, and now we've been we've been through like there's a lot of death cases. So in this few weeks, there's a lot of cases about the COVID-19 over there. So mom and dad, my parents, just really like worry like me when I just come here about the COVID-19, about the spreading, got the virus, and yeah. But then the communication, they just try to communicate me, can say the daily sometime, but now can say everything much better. So not really, but still communicate by better about the messenger or about a Zoom, a short of Zoom meeting. So we still communicate day by day. Yeah.
And you've all alluded to all of the various challenges you face, and we do appreciate you sharing and being so candid with us. But if you could discuss what has been, just for you, if you could pick one, what's been the biggest challenge you've faced throughout this whole experience?
Not being able to go home. Like, I was really excited to go home, and because last time I went in September 2019, so it was kind of right before COVID, but I only went for like a week, so it wasn't enough time to see everyone. So I was hoping I would get to see everyone in May 2020, and I didn't. So it's kind of sad.
I have been in a little situation last semester. It has nothing to do with COVID, but I had to undergo a minor surgery for appendicitis. We still have a few classes left at that time, and there are a lot of assignments and examinations. But the faculty, computer science faculty, are very supporting. I record very fast, and I did all of my work. Because it is virtual, because the classes are virtual, I'm able to attend the remaining classes from my cousin's home and few classes from the hospital also. If they were in-person classes, I would not have attended those classes and learned the topic. It is like finding a little positivity in all the negativity the pandemic has brought.
For me, I remember the first time come here, like I was really exhausted because it was my first time flying 23 and 24 hours from the home country and to here, and I feel like, oh gosh, it just really changed the living. But this is my biggest challenge because during the flight I need to be cautioned a lot about the cassette itself and a little bit about the worry about the flying, that long flight, and physically I feel so tired. But then I feel much better and already got room and then sleeping the whole day. So everything good after that.
So I do have just one follow-up question, because we're talking about challenges and some of the downsides of all of this. But if you all wouldn't mind talking about some of the strategies or what you've done to help you navigate this experience. Rothdanin, I know you mentioned like going for jogs or going for walks and getting outside, but what have you all done to help you cope and deal with the challenges you've experienced?
So last year I was able to go on a road trip, and I was very COVID safe. I slept in the car. I didn't sleep at the hotels. Like, I was avoiding people, and I was with my friends. So we drove through a lot of states, and we got to see how everything looks like in other states. So it definitely helped me, because if I was just stuck at home, I would probably lose my mind, especially before COVID. I was always traveling. But now I think I just sleep a lot. And I read books and I study. Last semester I didn't really have time for anything but studying, so it kept me busy, and I think I didn't even notice the pandemic because I was so busy with school that I didn't have time to complain about being bored or not being able to go places because I wouldn't be able to go places anyway.
I had to plan all the things I had to do in the next week beforehand, and I followed that schedule. And over the weekends, I would go to my cousin's house who live nearby. It's a 1-hour drive from here, and I would play with her children. It is very relieving to play with children, and we would watch movies at night, order food from outside. So those are the things that give some energy to me.
Actually for me, like I don't know how to say it, but I name it as in and out schedule. How I mean by in and out is mean that I spend the 8 hours straight to studying, like from the morning 8 a.m. to 5, I can say. But in I refer to the can say the schedule, the habit that I got 1 hour for doing something in for myself. Like 1 hour of doing that, it means I divided 30 minutes for exercise, can say I jogging. Maybe I can say in the morning and in the evening, like every single day. And another 30 minutes, I divided to meditation before I sleep, like 15 minutes of that. And another 15 minutes, I gotta go to the podcast. Maybe I normally do it in the morning after I wake up, doing the podcast, like can say how to get the brain faster or anything that improving my brain. So I name it as in and out by the 8 hours of doing school tasks, in by doing the things that can help myself improvement and also improving my brain, anything. Yes.
And then I wanted to ask, what has been the most important thing you've learned throughout this whole experience? Like what's your one key takeaway?
Definitely kind of like live in the moment and appreciate it when it lasts, because you don't really know like what's going to happen next. A lot of people like put away like for later, like traveling and doing other things. And I know a lot of people that wanted to travel in 2020, like I traveled before, and then they couldn't travel. So yeah, just live in the moment and enjoy it and make the most of it. Like, I don't know, I always was spontaneous person, so I never really planned it on anything. But I like in this situation, you can see how sometimes like plans don't go like we wanted them to go, and you have to adjust to the new situation.
I feel that life is so unpredictable. We must adapt to our surroundings depending on the situation to survive. Even before the pandemic, we have tools and technologies to learn remotely, work remotely, attend virtual conferences and everything. But we all turned a blind eye to it. Because of the pandemic, we have to adapt all those solutions based on our needs. Even small businesses have adapted to the situation, and they are allowing controlled number of visitors, and we have to maintain physical distance even in those shops. So adapting to the situation is everybody doing during this pandemic, and that is what I learned.
If I not really confused with the question is about what thing that I should do after things back normal, right? Like I want, yeah.
That's the next one. So
I'm sorry.
This one is more about the whole experience of the pandemic has presented you like with a lot of challenges and more what is the one thing you've learned from it? Like what will you take away and how like that'll impact you in the future?
Okay, Thank you for the question again. Actually, for me, like because like in my first time outside the country for this long period, I can say adapt the environment around me, like the faster that I can, as much as I can. So the days to day, minutes to minute, I need to adapt the environment, especially to people, how to be humble and to know everything around us. Because the living in Cambodia and here is quite, can say, different. So one thing I can learn from this period, I can say about the pandemic and living here, I can say adapt to the people and the environment around here.
Thank you. So then the next question is, what's the first thing you want to do when things return to normal that you couldn't do during this pandemic?
I would say that going home, but I don't really think that I will be able to go home even after it's over because of visa and everything. So I don't know, maybe like going to concerts. Like I miss going to concerts. So hopefully they will be back soon and I will be able to do that.
Yeah, I too want to go to my home country if everything gets back to normal. And then I would want to go on a vacation in the United States. And also I miss watching movies in the theater. I love watching movies a lot. So I'll definitely do that.
I'm sorry I'm just quite different because I just come here. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna travel as much as I can in here. And I want to see how things are there, like in New York and other cities. So I want to just go and travel. And the second thing is, I'm sorry, but second thing I can experience the classes because here I spend much more time it's virtual, even though I like it a lot. But I really wish that I can experience the classes, how it works. Like yes, for me.
And then before we get into questions from the audience, do you have any final thoughts or stories you'd like to share regarding your experiences?
So I have advice for all the students that will have more time at BSU, that like go to ISSS office, meet Justin, Jen, and Kristen in person and enjoy the time with them. Go to like get involved to life on campus as much as you can because it's really like life experience and you will miss it a lot after you graduate.
Yeah, there's nothing I want to add, but it felt good sharing my experiences with you all today.
Yeah, personally, I don't really have a lot of things, but because now I'm learning those, but I can say that now we are experiencing the hard time, the pandemic, but I think that I know that everything's gonna get better as soon as. So even in the worst, like in the hard time, but we're gonna keep going and trying to get things better and yeah, enjoy life as much as we can. I can say.
Well, thank you all three of you. Really appreciate hearing from you and hearing your experiences and your stories. At this time, I will be reading through some of the questions that were asked while you all were talking. So the first one from Nevena was, how do you think your experiences here at BSU will benefit you in the future, and what skills have you gained from your experiences? So in no particular order, feel free to jump in if you have a response.
So since I'm graduating soon, I started looking for jobs. Like I haven't started yet as much, but like I sent some resumes and I had a lot of people reaching out to me. So I think I won't have trouble to find job after graduating. And I think having having a degree from the United States opens the door like to a lot of other places, like wherever I want to work in the future. I probably wouldn't have problem to find job because my English is great. It improved a lot during my time at BSU, and I learned a lot from classes. I also learned that you have to be involved, not just focus on grades and school, like go out there, get to know people. And I feel like at BSU it's really easy to meet new people and make new connections that can benefit you in the future. So don't be afraid to talk to people. You never know when those friendships may help you in the future.
When I'm traveling to the United States, my friends and some of my relatives said you will experience a culture shock when you are in the US because the culture here is so different from that in India. So along with that culture shock, we had this pandemic. So like living through those situations in the first semester, and now I feel that I have learned to manage things a lot. Even I learned to face tough situations with some motivation. So I think I can carry these from here.
For me, like because of like a pandemic, so everything's turned to like virtual digital platform. I can say that what I can learn from this time is about working with the schoolmate, I can say classmate and other people by digital, how to handle the class, how to handle the task assignment, because some of the classes is about the group assignment. So we need to know how to maintain it, how to communicate with each other. This is the point that I can say if I go to work, it's going to be how to work well with the digital platform about this. And the second one is being independent. How can we stand here? How can we maintain our mental and physical by whether it's about the exercise or anything during this hard time. Yes.
Great. So the next question was from Kristen for you, Rothdanin, but please, anyone else join in and contribute. But Rothdanin, what are your favorite podcasts? Because you had mentioned listening to podcasts.
I this day I listen to the Team Quebec. It's about how to work well with the brand, because like most of the time I just stay in room. So I know I don't want my brand just so stuck. So yeah, I listen to him a lot. And others is about the New Yorker. New Yorker is about I want to know how they live, like American people, like daily news and a living style, over here. So beside this, I also listen to this podcast.
I listened to a podcast called Darknet Diaries. The host of this podcast explains cybersecurity events that are happening right now in the form of a story. Those are very engaging. And also, I listened to another podcast called Business Mover. It's about the people who have taken the business from ground level to unreachable heights. So I would recommend people who are interested in business that side to listen to the podcast called Business Movers.
Okay, and excuse me, the next question is from Wen Kai. It's a two-part question. Are you able to meet and know other students in Zoom and online classes, and have these been effective? What suggestions do you have for BSU to do more or differently?
I personally don't think that I met any students since everything went online. like the only interaction I had with other students would be if we had group projects. So I would meet like 2 people from my class. There was no time for us to actually interact with other folks from class. My class that I'm taking right now, like we have group projects, and our professor at the end of class puts us in separate rooms so we can talk on Zoom to our teammates. But besides that, it's like really hard to like make new friends and meet new people. It's usually, for me, it's mostly just whoever I knew from previous classes. Like I still interact with them, but besides that, I didn't make any new friendships. And I feel like maybe if there were classes and professors would take some time at the end of class and put us in separate like Zoom rooms with random people and told us to interact, it would be beneficial. Like we could actually meet people, because during class you can't really talk to other people, like you can't get to know them. And maybe if we worked in like not one group for the entire semester, but like every week it would be different group, it would help us to get to know more people.
I haven't met any new people in my class, but I have met few international students like Sarah and Ahmed from Jordan through ISSS events. So my recommendation would be to conduct such events for students in the same class, so they get to know each other very well.
I actually, once I just come here, I met a national student. She exchange over here, and it's just like really coincident that she also enrolled the same class as mine, like piano class in class person. So we usually go and just come back, like go and back class together. So I met her, and she just so nice, and we talk and share experience and talk about this and that, even the dogs topic. We share things together, and she is my new friend right now, and I love her so much. And also another Zoom, because virtual, I also got a class of the comparative government, and I also met a friend there. And because we got a group together, we share about things together. So luckily in this time, I also met new friends over here.
I think some of your responses lead into this next question, but if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit more about your favorite part of your experience at BSU.
Going on trips with ISSS. We went to Salem. I loved it, and I can't wait for Red Sox game that is coming up. And I loved going to Washington, DC. And like there's so many ways ISSS keeps us involved and encourages us to make new friends. Then yeah, I think it was the best, like my favorite part about BSU.
The previous college I studied in India, like it's very small. It doesn't have that much of scenery. But when I saw BSU, I like this environment very much. There are a lot of trees. Even inside the buildings, I feel they put so much thought into building them. So the architecture and the environment of the BSU is what I like the most.
I guess because I just spent a lot of time in Rome, and a lot because of the pandemic, as you mentioned. So I don't really have the specific favorite part. I can say that the livings here, like how the environment around me and the people around me and the professors just are just so nice. So and I also mentioned about the next trip, so I can't wait for this. Yeah.
We can't wait to be to doing those events and getting back to normal either. So that's definitely the highlight. I think I can speak for Jen, Kristen, and myself that the highlight of what we do is getting to interact with you all in person. Virtual is fun and all, but we'd much rather be able to take those trips and have those meetings and have those events and programs. So we're looking forward to getting back to normal. The next question is from Emma. Have you learned anything about yourselves throughout the pandemic? Is there anything you wish you would have done differently to help you get through it?
During the pandemic and in general, I learned that there's nothing that can stop me. Like, if you can get degree in different country, speaking different language, and during pandemic, like, you're unstoppable. Like, there's nothing you cannot do. So I think that's really great. But like, as sad as it is, it's also like very positive. Like, it depends how you take it, but like, when you think about it, if you were able to take classes during pandemic and do well and still like have a little social life and then get your degree in another country, like, you like not everyone does that. So you can be proud of yourself. And
As I said earlier, I have learned to manage multiple things at a time during this pandemic. If I knew there would be a pandemic, I would have delayed my admission in BSU and I would have come 2 years later. So I can experience everything at BSU and in the United States while I'm studying.
During this pandemic, I can say that the thing that I can learn, because like I can every year, so yeah, I can say I always have the year plan, but because of the pandemic, some sort of the plan is doesn't work. Even though it doesn't work, I also can learn that thing doesn't go out on the way that we wish to, but it's gonna go out to the way that it's gonna direct us to somewhere else. So even in the worst time, that sometimes it's not really good to the plan, but keep going. And I just it just like Anna said, it's just nothing to stop us from learning and doing things that we think that is positive for us. Yeah.
And with that, I think I hit all of the questions in the chat. We do have like maybe time for one more question if anyone has a burning question. If not, we'll wrap things up.
I just wanted to say thank you all for joining us today and for sharing your experiences during COVID. I know that this is not, you know, what you had expected to happen for BSU. And it was so interesting to hear from all of your different perspectives, because Anna Maria, you had a really good picture of what BSU looked like pre-pandemic. Nagendra, you came and just had a small taste. And then Rothdanin, you just decided to do it, to just come to BSU in the middle of a pandemic. So it was really cool to see kind of how you all you know, dealt with different things and just your different expectations. And so thank you again for sharing what life and learning has been like for you at BSU. We appreciate your time.
I also like to thank all of you. It's really positive to hear about how you're trying to deal with the tough situation. We all try to cope with that in our different ways, and especially for international students, it's even tougher to, you know, to change what you had before the pandemic or what you were expecting to do here. Unfortunately, I'm hope that before you go home or finish your studies, you have a chance to travel and get the vaccine very soon, you know, in the next month or so, and have freedom again. We all look for more freedom, you know, when we all get vaccinated. So I hope to see some of you who are graduating in May, and you know, I don't know about your plans. So good luck on your finals and other things, and really hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Wen-Kai. So with that, I just would like to thank everyone for joining us today. I'd like to thank Nagendrababu, Anna Maria, and Rothdanin. We really appreciate you sharing your time and your experiences with us, so thank you all.
Can you teach us how to say your name correctly?
Yes, it's Nagendrababu.
Nagendrababu?
Yeah, you can call me Nagi if it is too long. Nagi.
Okay.
Well, thank you all. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye, nice seeing you.
Bye.
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 Bye.